Thanks. I'll try not to sound too much like an environmental fundamentalist, but maybe in this country it's okay. No, whoops. What happened there? All right, you got a preview of what I was going to say. Right, I'd like to talk about the weather as an extension of nature. And I think the way that we see nature mostly kind of takes away a lot of the living qualities, which I'm going to show you later. It basically flattens it, and I think if you just view nature through a different lens, then you'll see there's quite a lot of fun in it. And never mind, nature speaks best for itself. So, yeah, it's about nature, how we see it, how we talk about it, and how you can see it in a different way. And I ask myself, being from the north, do I talk about the weather just because that's the usual thing? You know, we always talk about the weather. Or maybe it's because of my Czech roots. Czech people like to talk a lot, and weather is a fantastic excuse to talk to a lot of people. Oh yeah, all right, there we go. Whoops. That's the punishment I get for not knowing Finnish. And off you go. So we have this little phenomenon. It's fantastically dynamic, and the kind of language that we have to talk about it with, if I can find my slides again. Oops, sorry about this. Very professional. Feel free to laugh. I deserve it. Thank you. Good, good, good. I feel better already. It was on purpose. It was on purpose. And there, right. So the kind of language that we have to talk about the weather, and the way that we refer to it is pretty much like the weather symbols we see. Like this is pretty much our language about the weather. It's very static. It's like one impression, lots of stereotypes. Would we, like, given that the weather is so much, it's like, you know, you step outside, there's the built environment, and then there's the environment above, and there's nothing like that changes quite like the weather and affects our daily lives. So, like, if there was something that affects us so much and is with us so much, you know, would we talk about that, you know, if it was a being, the way that, you know, we see it on TV? Maybe sometimes I do think about my friends like this, but one hindrance is, of course, our memory, because if we think of a day, then we remember instants. We don't remember long periods of time. Like, you know, if you think back of what I said at the beginning of my speech, you probably don't remember, but that's probably for another good reason. Basically, you know, you need to see things in long continuums, and that's partly of what information visualization is about. Yes. There we go. So with the kind help of information visualization, you can see things in a different way, and hopefully, like, beyond the fact that we can't entirely sense accurately by our own senses where the wind is blowing. It allows us to see things over time, and then you see completely different patterns of what's going on. This started out as a curiosity. I was interested to see what would the wind draw if it could draw. So, by way of, I've gotten measurements from the Finnish Meteorological Institute, from the top of the Olympic Tower. I have like more than a few years worth of measurements. Sorry. I have more than a few years worth of measurements at 5-minute intervals of where the wind is blowing and how fast it's going. So basically, I made software that gives the wind a pen. Whatever compass direction the wind blows in, and in the relevant speed, this line, like the wind draws this line. This larger, more dominating line that you see here is basically a close-up of the tip of the surface of the drawing point. The width of the line, or the line, like the movement corresponds to the speed. So in addition to just getting a nice information graphics which you can look at, you're also experiencing the speed of the wind, like slow, and the speed is also reflected in the width of the line. So from being this thing that either one doesn't notice or one notices a whole great deal when it's really cold and it's blowing in your face and it's raining, you have more of the dynamic sense, dynamic being. Like this could be a dancer that's dancing. In terms of the motion, there's, like life, there's predictability. It's not utter chaos, but there's also unpredictability. To make this a little personal, I'm adding some markers here. Every time you see a marker, oh, sorry. I realized that when we're looking at this, you don't see the time. At the bottom, there's actually time, but it dropped off the screen. It's drawing about 2 hours of wind time per second. So this is, and anyway, to make these markers, these purple lines, they show up every time you cross midnight. So between two lines, there's 1 day. And now we're starting the day that is Jenna's birthday, which is on the 1st of July. There we go. That was Jenna's birthday in terms of the wind. This little memento. Make it personal. The color of the wind here changes according to temperature. So this is summer. It's warm colors, warm temperatures. Okay. So in extension, I was curious because we take pictures of moments that interest us. Our vision is our guide to reality. But what if we have slightly different sensors to see a different part of reality? What if we draw a picture of a companion of the wind, of our companion of the wind? So basically, this is I was interested in turning wind measurements back into nature. So I made a 3D representation of the wind. The shape here, the edges of the shape always touch the same height, and that height it's reflecting temperature. So when the shape is above, it's above 0 degrees, and when it kind of goes down, it's below 0 degrees to reflect it. That when the wind is really cold, it's a bit as if it's cutting into you. So with the help of some industrial equipment, basically an industrial robot with a drill at the end, we cut this shape out into wood. So the beloved wind, a natural element, through some virtual help, is turned back into nature again. This is 1 day's worth of wind, and it's a bit characteristic of the wind here that you have a warm wind because it's above the surface and it's strong and it's going, and then it meets a cold wind all of a sudden. You see the fluctuations in the temperature, and then it drops below 0, and it does a few funny twists. Let's see. That's turbulence. It's like two different winds meeting, and that beloved sensation in winter when it's going from above 0 to below 0, and then the warm wind comes again, and it's blowing strong. It's above 0, and then it meets the cold wind again, and it turns direction, and then there's warm wind again. So very undecided creature, and I'm just happy that one can take pictures of this of the being and show it in a bit of a more living state than what we usually see it as.